If you have a lot of regrets, you're never going to move forward. You have to get through those regrets. And when it comes to forgiveness, if we can't forgive ourselves, how are we going to forgive somebody else? Now, do we need to forgive other people? To me, the answer is no. We just don't. There are people who are diabolical, who are toxic, who are cruel. That's just the way they are, and they know that many of them. They make that choice. So if you affect my life, I'm not going to forgive you. I could love you, stand away from you. I've walked away from quite a few people in the last 3 months. But I just can't forgive the type of person you are. Why should I? Why do I need to? Is it going to make me a better person? No. The answer is no. You're not going to be a better person. It's funny, I was watching something today and I saw Taylor Swift, and they asked her about forgiveness, and she, I believe, I'm not quoting her, stipulated that, no, you don't need to forgive somebody. And that's the truth. When people hurt you, you have to move through it, but at the same time, you can't have any residuals or anger or hate. If you're going to forgive somebody, then it should be cut and dry. They're forgiven, you move on. But forgiveness to me is very difficult because my mind, I'm always wondering why someone would do something to me, why someone would treat me that way. What did I do to you for you to hurt me, be toxic towards me, use me, lie to me, cheat? Then I look at myself and I realize, Mother of God, I've done those things to a lot of people. So I'm no better than that person that I don't want in my life. But I acknowledge that, and I know it, and I work at it. There are people who don't work at it. Forgiveness is a very strong word, especially if you're just stating, well, I forgive you. Well, what do you forgive that person for? Unless you communicate what it is you're forgiving somebody for, it's not going to work. They're not going to know what the hell's going on. The work I do is details. If someone says to me, look, I'm going in the room, I'm going to pick up the pillow. My mind, I'm going to the room, I'm going to pick up the pillow. I walked in the door, there's a couch on the left, there's a table on the right, there's food on the table, there's a big screen TV, basketball. It's all about detail. So when someone says forgive someone, and someone tells you, like religious organizations always say, forgive someone, turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek. Where the hell did that foolish cliche come from? You keep turning the cheek, sooner or later, you're going to break your neck. You're going to get hit so hard, you don't have answers. And one of the things that I've come to realize with myself is when I keep telling myself, I'm going to forgive that person, where do I have the power to forgive anybody? None of you have the power to forgive anybody. We're not God. We're not some holy person. We're not something in someone, whoever somebody worships. We're just not. It's very arrogant in my book for me to tell someone I forgive them or someone to say they forgive me. I've laughed at it when people say they forgive me. Now, if you say to me, Dennis, the transgression that took place in what you did hurt me, let's have a conversation, I can accept that. And I can do that with you as well. But we have to get over it, because once we forgive someone or we tell ourselves we're forgiven, there's still residuals from it. Then we're going to look at other people and think about this. How many of you, and I know I have, and I still do, and I'm trying to change, have an issue with someone, you've worked through it, hopefully. Then you meet somebody else, and you get the slight hint that it's going to be just like the other person. What do? You turn back into that person. You get angry. You get hateful. You get spiteful. We all do those things. So now we're picking out somebody else rather than the initial target that created this. It's a cycle that keeps going. It's a cycle that never stops. I've had that. I go to bed at night, and the shit that goes through my head about people I hate, people I hope that don't do well, people I hope generationally their families don't do well, that goes through my head at night, and my mind is going a million miles an hour. There's only 4 people that is with. But the reality is I don't control them. But the reality is I'm letting them control me. So I've got a lot to learn, and I'm working on it. I'd love to sleep, but that's not the case. I'd love to be able to say to myself, okay, you don't need that hate. Now, sadly, many of us are fueled by hate, are fueled by anger, are fueled by something that's negative. And that's what fuels me. So I haven't forgiven certain people. The most important person that I'm learning to forgive for all the transgressions I've had over the years, and I've had some really horrible things that I've done to people and that I've said to people and situations I've been in, because I literally at times have no concern. I literally, a friend of mine who I mentioned a while back had said something about my mom using the N word because he didn't like my politics. He didn't like the fact that I believed in Black Lives Matters, not just not about the organization, but people. And he made some comments. Now, I haven't spoken to him. I told his wife, I said, look, when he passes away, I'll always love him. There's no need to tell me. This man's been in my life for 40-something years. And I'm numb towards him. And I'm okay with that. I don't even think about him. He's not one of the four people. It's just that after a certain time, when we become numb to something, there's a reason. I've always said this, and I will continue to say it. People don't walk away from another person to teach that person a lesson. They walk away because you've learned the lesson. I've learned my lessons over and over and over. It's like a damn Groundhog's Day with Bill Murray, the movie. Forgiveness is a difficult thing. It's doable, but there's different degrees of forgiveness that I've dealt with. And one of those things that I realize that I have to do is take a look at myself and realize, have I done that to somebody? Did I do this to somebody? Am I the same person that I'm angry at? Am I them? Looking in the mirror. I look in the mirror every day and it's an ugly picture. I see a lot. I have a lot of self-anger. I have a lot of shame. I have a lot of self-hate in certain situations, but I've had wonderful tools that help me get through it. I don't linger on them. These four people, I got to get rid of that in my mind because it's the only thing that's going to work if I get rid of it. Because I do believe if we haven't forgiven ourselves, we're never going to be able to forgive another human being.